So a while back I did a tour of all 31 Cambridge colleges. If you haven't seen it, go take a look. But since then, I've been asked to do a big tour of Catz, which is the college that I go to, and I've been here for 4 years. And I finally decided to get around to it. So this should be really useful if you're thinking of applying to Catz, either as an undergrad or as a postgrad. Anyway, without any further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so let's start with the front of college. So here's the main entrance, and across the street is Corpus Christi College, and this is Catz in winter as well. So I'm now going to show you Porter's Lodge, affectionately known as plodge. This is your first impression, first port of call, and last resort when you lock yourself out of your room. So this is kind of like the hub of the college, and it's staffed 24/7 by some of the friendliest people in college. And as a student, you can collect your post from here. Okay, so I'm just going to show you main court now. So this is the main central space in college, and all the main bits come off it. So that includes the dining hall and the chapel. And until recently, it was dominated by this massive gazebo called the Catzebo because of all the building work, but thankfully that's all gone. And this is a fun fact about Catz. So until relatively recently, there used to be a slave plantation bell here. Like literally when I was in first year, that's when they took it down. I've also just thrown in a map of college here just so you can see where the building works were and how small the college is. There was also a really nice Christmas tree they put up during the winter, which I really liked. And then here is the bit you see when you're coming in towards the dining hall. There's a big periodic table of elements, and that's because Catz is just really into chemistry. So here are some of the new bits, including the dining hall, which I honestly think is so much nicer than the old one we had. When I actually came to visit Catz to film this, I bumped into one of my favourite maintenance workers, and it turns out that he was one of the people who put up the new portrait of the master, and it's super lifelike. And apparently it was a whole ordeal putting it up, but I think it looks really good. My favourite thing is this light feature though, and supposedly this is the oldest painting in college. It's so old that it's actually not on canvas, but it's on board, which I thought was really cool. And then there's this walkway that you can see, and let me show you what it looks like from above. So this is it, and you can see on one side the hall, and it gives you such a nice view of it, doesn't it? And then on the other side, you can see the servery, so you can see where people actually get their food. And this is what it looks like from down below. This was so awkward to film. And here are some of the other new bits in college. The whole point, I think, was increasing accessibility, so having lifts. This is another new bit of college called the garden room, which is a bit of a study space. And I honestly don't know how they justify its name because there are like 4 plants. Okay, let's move swiftly on to the chapel. So this is the entrance to the chapel, and there are also blankets here in case it gets chilly. So the chapel is important for a number of reasons. So that includes for services and also for music. So the choir performs here a lot and they practice. It's also just a space where everyone is welcome regardless of their background. It's just a really nice place where it's very quiet and peaceful so you can really reflect. I'm not sure if you guys realise, but there are wheels absolutely everywhere, even in the stained glass windows. And that's because the college's crest has the Catharine wheel on it, and that's because St. Catharine is our patron. As far as colleges go, the chapel is relatively small though. Also, fun fact, this is the grave of John Addenbrooke, the guy who founded Addenbrooke's Hospital in Cambridge, who went to Catz. So now I'm going to show you the bar. So Catz bar is underground and it's relatively modern as bars go. This is where you order from, and if you do end up coming here, definitely try out Fire Engine, which is the college's drink. There's quite a lot of space here for social events in college, and they really vary just in the sort of activity they are. So that ranges from things like bops, which are basically like really cheesy school discos, to things like society meetings for yarn stock, to board games nights, and you can just hang out here with your mates. It's also a pretty nice place to study, especially during exam season, because it's a bit less depressing than studying alone in the library. So this is the JCR, so that's the Junior Combination Room. It's basically a common room for the undergraduates to hang out. JCR is also used as a phrase to just describe the undergraduate body as a whole. So this is what the room looks like on an average day when it hasn't been prepared. It's pretty messy, but that's just on the undergrads. The best thing about it is the games console, and in general it's a good place to hang out. So this is the postgrad equivalent. This is the MCR. It's in an older part of college, and honestly, I kind of prefer it. Like as a first year, I was always so excited when I get to visit. It's quite light and airy, and there are also a few study spaces here as well, which is really nice. And you can see the blades from college rowing. And there's also a bit of a kitchen here as well, with a coffee machine, which is constantly breaking and is kind of the bane of the MCR committee's existence. There's also another room here as well with loads of seating, and it's a pretty good place for like meetings, but also for fun social events. So there was this really cute gingerbread making thing over Christmas. I have to admit, I actually don't know what this room is for, but I walked past it and it looked really cool, so here is the old combination room. So no tour of a Cambridge college would be complete without its libraries. So this is one of Catz's 2 libraries. This is the Sherlock Library. So this is the older one of the 2, and it's mainly for arts and humanities. Despite that, it's probably my favourite one just because I think it's prettier. So it was named after Thomas Sherlock, who was a fellow here, and he eventually became master at the beginning of the 18th century. Another thing I really like about this library is the fact that there's additional equipment like whiteboards, which I think is a really nice touch. Okay, let me show you the other library. So this is the Shakeshaft Library, and I was very pleasantly surprised to see this duck. He's awesome. I think this is a new thing. So as you can tell, the Shakeshaft Library is a bit more modern, and this is where all of the more sciencey books are. My favourite part of it is definitely this upstairs bit. I think it's really light, and it's also a very warm library. Also, I think it's quite nice how you can study without distractions here, and the chairs are way more comfortable. This is what it looks like from the outside, and this is what it looks like with all of the books. And there's also a lot more study space downstairs on these tables, and that kind of just goes around the whole area. But as you can see, it is very light with lots of windows and more study equipment, which is awesome. So now I'm going to show you some of the more boring but important parts of college, like the laundry rooms. They have the ability to use card here. There are some showers, and there are also toilets. And this is where you'll actually need to trek to if you're in one of the staircases around here, like I was last year. There are also trunk rooms to store your belongings over the holidays. Now, this is Sherlock Court, which is the smaller court in college. It's surrounded by lots of accommodation on all sides, and you can see the back of Porter's Lodge here. It's really nice. There are loads of benches, and you can also have picnics on the grassy area as well sometimes. And this is what it looks like in winter, just to show you for contrast. And here on this staircase, I don't know if you can see, this is actually where I used to live back in first year, and I'm very excited to show you what it looks like. So they haven't actually taken down our names, and it's been 3 years, so I don't know, they should kind of get on that. But anyway, this is what it looks like when you go upstairs. It was honestly such a blast from the past, but this is what the bathroom looks like, and we had to share this bathroom between 8 people back in first year. It's pretty basic, but it does just get the job done. And there was also a point where we had a Christmas tree here, which was pretty nice. And there's quite a lot of space here. Then this is the kitchen, which is also shared between 8 people. It's very basic too, with just a toaster, a microwave and a kettle, and also some hot plates. There's no oven, and also you're not supposed to fry, technically. But anyway, this is the view that you have of college from here, which I think is really nice. And then this here is the car park, and on the left you can see Master's Lodge, and down here is where the bikes are stored in the bike shed, which is all really useful. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and it was helpful to you guys.